We live in a world where a massive amount of time is spent grinding away for corporations or some other entity that we don't care about and often despise. To sacrifice so much of your time to a machine feels dystopian. Yet it's the norm. It's so normalized that we often forget that we have more of a choice than we think. For a lot of people, it takes some traumatic event like a near death experience or a loss of some sort to really shift their perspective. Something has to interrupt the routine, something has to break the spell and awake one from their sleep. That is what one of my all time favorite movies is about: Joe versus the Volcano. On a surface level, this is a ridiculous movie. A miserable man named Joe is given a terminal diagnosis, and soon after, a wealthy businessman offers him a deal.
I want to hire you, Joe Banks. I want to hire you to jump into a volcano.
Live like a king for a few weeks, travel to a remote island, and jump into a volcano so that he can get the rights to some rare earth mineral on the island or something like that. And that's the plot. And somehow, this absurd little movie asks one of the most important questions that you can ask. Are we actually present for our own lives? Not just alive, but awake. Because there's a difference. Joe is alive at the beginning of the movie, technically. He has a job, he has a routine, he has somewhere to be every morning. But everything about his life feels dead. The opening scene, where Joe arrives at work, is one of the best depictions I've seen of the kind of soul-crushing environment that people just accept as normal. Everything is gray, everything is sickly, everyone looks exhausted. The building feels less like a workplace and more like a place where people slowly go to disappear, like a purgatory or something. The movie is exaggerated, obviously. It's theatrical, it's over the top, but the feeling is not fake. A lot of people know that feeling, waking up and going somewhere that seems to take something from you every day, being imprisoned just to survive, telling yourself that this is just what life is.
Nobody feels good. After childhood, it's a fact of life. I feel rotten. So what? I don't let it bother me. I don't let it interfere with my job.
This movie makes no attempt to be subtle about that. It's chock full of symbolism, foreshadowing, strange settings and archetypal characters, and cheap puns. But that's not a weakness. That's how the movie works. It's not trying to be realistic. It's more like a fable. And fables don't have to be realistic to tell the truth. An example of this is Joe's first real interaction at work.
Oh, good morning, Dee Dee.
Hi, Joe. What's with the shoe?
I'm losing my soul.
Yeah.
And of course, that's exactly what's happening. He's losing his soul. Not in some dramatic, evil way, but through routine, through fear and exhaustion, through giving his life away to something that he just doesn't care about. And then Joe, a hypochondriac, visits the doctor, and he learns that he's dying.
You have some time left, Mr. Banks. You have some life left. My advice to you is live it well.
He leaves the office knowing his end is near, and suddenly the world looks different. He's no longer a hypochondriac. He's already about to die. He notices life around him. He hugs a stranger's dog. He sees the world with this kind of tenderness, and that's kind of the point. The dog was already there. The street was already there. The whole world was. Joe just wasn't awake enough to notice it. He stands up to his boss and he quits on the spot. Joe's boss is not just a boss, he's the little tyrant of the sleeping world, the petty authority figure, the person who has no real greatness in him, but still somehow has power over Joe's time, his mood, his life.
Been working here 4.5 years. The work I did, I probably could have done in 5 or 6 months. At least 4 years left over. 4 years. If I had them now,
of gold in my hand.
And that's one of the things that the movie points out. A lot of what traps us only works because we act as if we have forever. Joe asks Dee Dee out on a date when he quits, and it becomes clear that he's no longer the same person. He's more direct, more alive, more willing to say what he feels. But when he confides to her that he's dying, of course, she becomes overwhelmed. She still belongs to the ordinary world, the safe world, and the world that Joe is about to leave behind.
My name is Samuel Harvey Graynamore.
The opportunity arrives in the form of Samuel Harvey Graynamore, a charismatic capitalist who offers Joe a very special opportunity. He wants to hire Joe to jump into a volcano.
Live like a king, die like a man. That's what I say. What do you say?
All right, I'll do it.
Joe agrees and chooses to live as well as he can, even if that means that he's going to die sooner. And from there, the movie swings back and forth between indulgence and heartbreak. Joe gets money, he buys beautiful luggage, he travels, he meets strange people. He gets pulled into these absurd situations that feel almost like scenes from a dream. One of the unique things about this movie is that Joe encounters 3 women who affect his life, and they're all played by Meg Ryan. I don't want to over-explain that, but it gives the movie a kind of dream-like quality. It's as if Joe keeps meeting different forms of possibility. The middle character that Meg Ryan plays, Angelica, gives us one of the best examples of the movie's shift from silliness to tragedy in the same kind of moment.
Would you like to hear one of my poems?
Sure.
Long ago, the delicate tangles of his hair covered the emptiness of my hands. Would you like to hear it again?
Okay.
Long ago, the delicate tangles of his hair covered the emptiness of my hands.
What's the matter?
Did you ever think about killing yourself?
What?
That is kind of like the whole movie. It's goofy as hell, and then suddenly it's heartbreaking. Life is not neatly divided into comedy and tragedy. Sometimes the funniest moments are right beside the saddest ones. Sometimes people are ridiculous and wounded at the same time. So suddenly a scene that feels like a joke says something that's kind of deep. Joe versus the Volcano uses silliness to get at something serious. It's not despite the absurdity. It is through the absurdity that it makes these kind of profound points. Anyway, eventually, Joe ends up on the ocean with the third character that Meg Ryan plays, Patricia. And this is where the movie moves toward the kind of idea and the core of everything. Because the deeper point is not that Joe just escapes his job, that he even goes on an adventure. You can escape a job and still be asleep. You can travel the world and still be asleep. You can change your clothes and your location and your circumstances and still carry the same kind of prison around you. The real transformation is not movement, it's something within, right? It's your attention. It's whether you can actually accept the ephemeral nature of life and appreciate the beauty in that. At one point, when Joe is at his most vulnerable state, he has nothing. He's no security, no control. He just kind of relinquishes everything. He looks at the moon and he's just captivated by its beauty. And that scene is the soul of the movie to me because Joe's not asking for anything. He's not trying to win. He's not trying to make some bargain with the universe. He accepts his fate. He's just observing the world and being grateful for it. For a moment, that's enough. And that's kind of what a wakefulness looks like. It's not constant excitement or reckless adventure. It's not some dramatic performance. It's just the ability to look at the moon and understand it was never ordinary. And there's this line that Patricia says, the third character Meg Ryan plays, that I've remembered since I was a little boy, that really hooked me and really kept this movie in my heart for my entire life.
My father says that almost the whole world is asleep. Everybody you know, everybody you see, everybody you talk to. He says that only a few people are awake, and they live in a state of constant, total amazement.
That line has always captivated me. Even as a kid, I remember feeling like there was something true there, even if I couldn't really explain it. Because childhood kind of feels like that. The world has not become normal yet. A trail in the woods is not just a trail. A storm is not just weather. The moon is not just a thing in the sky. These things feel alive with possibility. They feel like secrets of the world. They're captivating. And then somehow many of us grow out of that, or we're trained out of it or something. We become more practical, more responsible. Of course, we get jobs and we build routines and we start mistaking numbness for maturity. We stop being amazed or amused. And I think that is what Patricia's line is really about. This sleep is not stupidity or ignorance or anything. It's just forgetting that life is temporary, that the world is strange, that other people are not just background characters in your life. Forgetting that your own life is something to experience, not merely something to manage or administer. We love people and we lose people. We dream and we suffer. We dance. We look at the moon. All these cliches, whatever. We know that all of this ends, and somehow we still spend so much of our time worried about things that barely matter. That is the sleep. It's not that ordinary life is bad, or that work is meaningless. It's not that everyone needs to quit their job and run off into the unknown, but it is very easy to become numb inside a life that looks reasonable or stable from the outside. And that is what Joe versus the Volcano pushes against. It doesn't really offer a clean philosophy, it doesn't give a practical plan. It's definitely not perfect. The effects are goofy, the ethics are absurd. The whole premise is insane. But underneath all of that, it asks a very real question. Are you awake? Not successful or secure or impressive, but awake. Can you still be amazed? Can you still look at the moon or the ocean or a dog on the street and appreciate it? And remember how extraordinary it is. Most of us will never be asked to jump into a volcano, fortunately, but we are asked smaller versions of that question all the time. Will you keep waiting? The trail is still there. The ocean is still there. The moon, the unknown path, it's still there. The only question is whether we are awake enough to see it and whether we choose to go and do it. This is why the movie has stayed with me, because yeah, it's absurd, it's silly, but life is like that. Despite all the absurdity, you have to wake up and enjoy it while you still can. And kind of like Joe, I also just quit my job, threw away some stability to go on an adventure. I'm going to go bicycle around Europe for the next 3 months or so. It's going to be a wild, dirty, difficult adventure. So hopefully I'll be able to make some videos then and I can share it with you guys. But thanks for watching. I hope you go watch Joe versus the Volcano if you can get your hands on it.